Hello and welcome to Jerez for the third and final race of this weekend's Spanish Formula 4 Championship. A nice, warm, sunny day in the southwest of Spain, and I'm sure you can probably hear over the speakers. Quite windy day as well, as we look at the pole man and championship leader TfL Neil, who's had, safe to say, pretty solid weekend so far. Race one, came fourth in race two. Pole position for this race gives him a significant lead in the championship, 47 points so far. And that was Andres Cardenas we were looking at a moment ago. This is second on the grid. Valerio Inicello now second in the championship. Had a podium earlier on today in race two. As we see, lots of members on the grid. The engine is slowly beginning to clear now as we get the last couple of minutes before the start of this race. This is Christian Ho. Driver who's had a slightly difficult weekend. Started fifth in race one, ended up finishing down in sixth after taking the lead, then finished ninth in race two. Sorry, eighth in race two, my apologies. To pick up a couple of points. We'll be hoping for more today. We're kind of hoping maybe this weekend he could ease into Nail's championship challenge. Has really had the opposite effect. He's lost out quite a bit. And this is one of the men at the moment. This is Andres Cardenas, starting fourth today. He's had two pole positions so far this weekend for races one and two. Race one didn't win, but he claimed his first podium. Came from second behind championship leader Nail, but then did a brilliant effort in race two. They have pole position, race winner, and led every lap, and also fastest lap. This is car 8, Mateo De Peo for Campos Racing. Solid weekend. Kind of firmed up the fact he's seventh in the championship, and he's really kind of firming that position now, but still challenging Noah Stromstead. He's not far behind. Stromstead, meanwhile, is a few positions behind him on the grid, down in ninth. And we see the field now showing up completely on screen. And Kiana Al-Adzari, who's been a bit anonymous this weekend. Very much present, sixth on the grid for this race, and we'll be hoping to get some big points. But today he is in the championship challenge, championship battle to a degree in the rookie standings. He's third in the rookie standings behind Matteo De Pella and Deligny, but it must be said, Deligny has a little bit of an advantage over both of them. And 35 runners this weekend. It is by far the busiest race we've had so far this season as the field gets away for their dummy lap to the grid. And we will briefly run through notes for this weekend. Griffin Peebles, as is noted, no time in qualifying 2. He starts last behind Alvix Dea, who starts 34th. He had a spin and a crash in race one. Kai Darianani gets away 33rd for Crown Motorsport behind Aslak Rashi, who's also making his debut. Lorenzo Castillo for Formula de Campagno starts 31st. He is a guest driver, not applicable to points. Same for Eloy Gonzalez, who starts 30th for Jerez. Dewey Richards replaces Kamiyoshi for Formula de Campagno this weekend in 29th. Carl Bennett starts 28th behind Max Restrepo. Fernando Barrichello will get away 26th on the grid alongside Formula de Campagnos racer Eric Genet. Eric Genet, the highest starting Formula de Campagnos racer in 25th. Not the best weekend for them. Luciano Morano for Antelope Racing starts 24th, took a 3-place grid penalty for a collision with Absakava in race 2. Juan Cota starts 23rd behind Flavio Oliveri and Cram Motorsport 22nd, and Theo Jensen will be getting away from 21st. Inside the top 20, George Zarafsky for Drive X gets away 20th at 1 minute 43.666. Behind Federico Alrafai for Ronan Carlin, and row 9 is a pair of Monla Motorsport racers for Richard Grazia in 18th and Pablo Sarazam 17th. 16th on the grid is Jessica Carrasquada in the Campos Racing behind the Ronan Carlin entry of Alex Ninovich. He gets away with a 1 minute 43.308, 7 thousandths of a second behind Absakava, who as mentioned did not finish race 2. Lynn Houdinez didn't finish race 1. Well, they'll be starting 13th for Monlau Motorsport in this race. Row 6 is an all MP Motorsport affair, with Geronimo Barrio getting away from 12th to 1 minute 43.259 behind the rookie Thomas Straven, who is coming straight in from karting. Pedro Claro lines up 10th on the grid, having taken a 3-place grid penalty due to a safety car infringement. That's a 1 minute 42.961 for them. And Noah Stromstead will get away from 9th. Enzo Deligny will go from 8th on the grid for Campos Racing, just behind Noah Lyle, who will round out 7th, while Chiara Alazzari for MP Motorsport gets away 6th behind a trio of Campos Racing entries, with Matteo De Peo starting 5th, Andres Cardenas 4th, Christian Ho 3rd, and Valerio Rinicella getting away from 2nd. And on pole position, on the left-hand side of your screen, in the white and blue entry, is TFL Nail for Santaloc Racing. And we're waiting now for the start. And so we're waiting now for, we've just had a dropout of pictures from the circuit. And race has started. TFL Neil is leading currently. Ahead of Vinicello, Ho, Cardenas, De Peo, Alazzari, Lyle and Deligny. And Stromstead in 9th, while Lynn Houdinez is up to 10th position. Pedro Claro is 11th at the moment, just ahead of Geronimo Barrio. But right now, looking very much like TFL Neil has an advantage, 7/10 of a second over Valerio Rinicella. While Christian Ho continues to have 3rd place over the race winner from this morning, Andres Cardenas. Matthew De Peo still pressing hard, though, 3/10 of a second behind Cardenas, but he's still fighting off Alazzari in 6th position. Enzo Deligny, the Red Bull backed driver, started 8th, up to 7th place. He's already taken Noah Lyle off the line. Well, Stromstead and Houdinez battling hard at the bottom end of the top 10, but TFL Nil comes across the line to complete the opening lap of this race ahead of Valerio Rinicella. And Christian Ho in 3rd position. Cardenas continuing his run in 4th, then De Peo, then Alazzari. Deligny Nile is 8th position. Stromstead in 9th. Pedro Claro 10th. Lynn Houdinez 11th. Alex Ninovich in 12th place ahead of Geronimo Barrio. Alexander Absakava does cross the line and will hopefully be getting to the checkered flag this time around, but it is TFL Nail continuing to lead at the front of the field ahead of Rinicella. The gap is 9/10 of a second, but he's got 8/10 of a second the gap over Christian Ho. And then a 6/10 down to Andrew Cardenas, while Matteo De Peo is still fighting hold on to 5th position. He's got Chiara Alazzari just 3/10 of a second behind him. Then Enzo Deligny 3/10 of a second behind Alazzari. Noah Lyle has a little bit of a gap. He's fallen 2.5 seconds behind Deligny in 7th position. He's under pressure from Pedro Claro, who's 9th, and Stromstead is 10th. They've swapped around. And Lynn Hadinis is 11th place ahead of Alex Ninovic, while Berrio is 13th ahead of the debutant racer Thomas Stravin. As we see pictures on screen now of Nail leading this race. And there you see the orange car of Valerio Rinicello just behind in second position. And then in third place, Christian Ho with the white Campos entry still holding firm. He's got Andres Cadenes just behind them. But you have a trio of drivers, Matteo De Pello, who's under pressure from Chiana Alazzari, and then Enzo Deligny still holding firm in seventh place. He'll be wanting more from this, having had 2 podium positions so far this weekend. And fastest lap at the moment for Valerio Rinicello, a 1 minute 44.247. That's going to come down significantly by the time this race ends. But you see Rinicello, he's closing in on the race leader, Theophile Nail. Rinicello, he's had 1 race win already this season. Rinicello's been one of those drivers who's had several occasions where he's been close to the front, he's led a race, he's had pole position, but never quite was able to solidify that win, and he did so finally in the final race of the last round in Navarra. And he did win on the road at Spa at the beginning of the year, but actually lost that win because of on a track limits infringement. It overtook the original race leader, Matteo De Pello, on the outside of the final corner, an illegal overtake, and he got penalised for it. But right now, we're looking at Deligny on screen chasing Alazzari. Is third in the rookie standings, but is 6th overall. And only half a second ahead of them is De Pello, who's chasing Cardenas for 4th place. Deligny looks to the inside, but Alazzari's not going to make any kind of error there. And we then, just behind them, you've got Noah Lyle, who is in 8th position. He is fending off Pedro Claro in the orange MP Motorsport entry. They got Noah Stromstead 10th, and Lynn Hodinis in the Monla Motorsport car just behind them. And still efforts to go down the inside, but not quite working. We'll look back now to Theophile Nail leading this race. The gap now is 0.8 of a second to Rinicello, and he's hoping to break the back of Rinicello's challenge. Rinicello, who has the fastest lap in this race, a 1 minute 44.247. Although, to be fair, Nail is setting times is only a few hundredths shy of that. And we have a yellow flag out in turn 5. And I think Pedro Sarrazin may have had enough, waiting for confirmation on that. And I do believe that is the stricken machine of, sorry, I said Pedro, I meant Pablo Sarrazin. And with that beached very firmly in the gravel, I do wonder if we will have a safety car coming very soon. The Monlo Motorsports driver. And yes, we do have a safety car, has been called. And this race is neutralised, and the field will relax somewhat. Everyone except Theophile Nail, who's thinking he's going to have to do this all again. Hopefully it won't take too long to clear Sarrazin's machine. But as no, and what's this? What is he doing? If we had an accident when the safety car has already been called, what on earth is he doing? And that is Maximiliano Restrepo, who's off the circuit. And I didn't quite see who the other car was. I'm quite surprised by that, as I'm sure is everyone else. There's some dumbfounded mechanics on the pit wall wondering what on earth they're doing. So we got a couple of more cars off. Well, that is well, that's going to be in the show reel. We had an incident with Pablo Sarrazin, who's gone off the circuit. And that safety car was called, and we have two drivers who are still battling hard for position, going side by side. The safety car has been called. It doesn't matter if you're not behind the safety car yet. If the double wave yellow flags are out, you stop racing. It's ridiculous. Well, is there a safety car? Because where is it? There's double wave yellow flags on the start-finish straight. Now we've got the safety car, but I don't understand. The safety car was called. It was called quite a long time ago. Double wave yellow flags. Why on earth are they still racing? And someone's probably going to tell me it was a replay, and I'm going to feel like an idiot, but it wasn't a replay. I'm dumbfounded by that. And, well, this is a repeat of the race start. Rinnicella getting away to defend from the start. Falnell had a very, very good getaway. Rinnicella battling hard as we see. That was Christian Ho and Cardenas going side by side. Cardenas forced out a little bit wide. This is the number 26 car in the pits. That is Alex Ninovic from Rodin Carlin. So if someone can please tell me why on earth drivers were still racing when double wave yellow flags were going and the safety car boards are out, please do get in touch. I would love to hear it. Here it is. What on earth is he doing? It's on... So that is on Ninovic, and the inside driver is Berrio. What are they doing? This is not play school, chaps. Goodness gracious me. Anyway, ay, ay, ay. Well, it gives me something to put in my notes for next week's race. And I'm pretty certain it's going to go in the notes for race director too. Anyway, Falnell leads the race behind the safety car. He's got the fastest lap as well, 1 minute 44.013. He's clearly not got that now because they're behind the safety car and back in a 2.5 minute lap range. Valerio Rinnicella is in second place, ahead of Christian Ho. Andres Cardenas, the Peruvian racer, is in fourth position, ahead of Matteo Lepeo, and Kiona Alexari, who is sixth. Enzo Deligny is in seventh place. Relax, relax, relax. It's cool. Well, it's cool for us, not cool for them. Noah Lyle is in eighth position. Pedro Claro in the points, ninth. He'll get 2 for that if he stays where he is. Obviously, he doesn't want to. He wants to climb up the order like everyone else. Noah Stromstad in 10th position at the moment, just ahead of Lynn Houdinus. And then, of course, beyond that, you got 12th position Thomas Strouven. Then Jesse Carrasquada is currently 13th. And Geronimo Berrio, who was involved in that incident with Ninovic. You can't not see the yellow flags. Ay, 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 ay. So, Jessica Esquada is 13th, and now reading Geronimo Berrio as 14th, with Alexander Absacava 15th, Federico Alrefai is 16th, Flavio Oliveri 17th, Fernando Barrichello is 18th, Luciano Morano 19th, and Juan Cota is running at the top 20. Beyond that, Theodor Jensen is 21st, Georgi Zuravsky is 22nd, Ricardo Gracia 23rd, Eric Genet is 24th, Alfredo Dare 25th, Eloy Gonzalez is 26th, Griffin Peebles 27th, Isaac Rashi is 28th. And if you're looking on timing and scoring, Hiyu Yamakoshi is not 29th, that is Dewey Richards. Transponder error. Lorenzo Castillo is 30th and Alessandro Selvaggi is 31st. Alex Ninovich is in the pits and unlikely to rejoin considering the damage. Carl Bennett, Max Restrepo and Pablo Sarrazin are all out. The safety car is pulled in and the race gets going once again. 16 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. And Nail leads this race, crosses the start line. He's got Rinacella behind and Christian Hose in 3rd place. Andres Cadenas is currently 4th. Matteo De Pea is 5th. Keanu Alezzari 6th place. Enzo Dellini is going to be looking to fight off the challenge of Noah Lyle. And he'll scratch that. There's a challenge there. I think Dellini possibly, or maybe Alezzari possibly on De Peo for 5th and 6th positions. That hasn't quite come together. Nail's already building a significant gap. Dellini, I think, is charging on the back of Alezzari as well, while simultaneously trying to keep Noah Lyle at bay. Lyle in the black and Dayglow yellow Carlin colours. Dellini and Lyle come to the inside to see if they can get a move on the driver ahead, but that's not going to happen this time around. Dellini not quite close enough to Alezzari, and Lyle kind of blocked off for passing Dellini by Dellini himself. Lyle will be hoping to get some points this week. He missed last weekend out. I apologise. Yes, he did. He did miss the last weekend out in Navarra because he had a clash with British Formula 4. He's doing dual championships this weekend. This year. And he had a clash and was racing in the UK that weekend. As we see, Alezzari trying to get around the outside of the Peo. It's not really trying to get around the outside, it's really making the Peo realise that he's there. He's trying to distract him, trying to break his confidence. But now he's under the rear wing, he's trying to go around the outside. The Peo looks as if he's got a bit of damage as well, it must be said, as they come around the outside of turn 1. Gianna Alezzari holds his foot and it goes over the new curbs. But the Peo has the inside line into 2. Alezzari's still there, very brave, but finally falls in back behind. As they come into 3 and 4 of the chicane, a little bit of debris from the Ninovich-Berrio challenge in the runoff area. Incidents involving Bennett, Restrepo and Sarrazin, who's going to be involved in investigating after this race. So Sarrazin's crash may have been multiple people involved, and we've got Pedro Claro trying to go down the inside of Lyle, as Lyle is trying to find the outside of Alezzari, who's trying to find a way on Dellini. He's trying to find a way on De Peo. Alezzari's still trying to go around the outside as they come in the mid part of the circuit. He switches from the inside of the left-hander to the mid part of the track on the right-hander. Lyle hugs the apex, but it's not quite enough. Meanwhile, he's still defending from Claro, and he doesn't want this. He wants to concentrate completely on the driver in front, not have to worry too much about the driver behind, but his focus is being distracted, and he's falling behind Dellini as a result. Lyle does take the inside line, and that is Claro tried a dive bomb. It's not quite worked. He's gone a little bit wide. Claro may actually lose the position as a result. Stromstead is challenging. You know, Stromstead towards in the white car, Claro there in the orange car. And also is Thomas Straven in the mix in the number 61 MP Motorsport entry. Meanwhile, Lyle, it's all worked out reasonably well for him. Stromstead has actually jumped a few drivers in all that kerfuffle, as has Hodinis, who's now to 10th. Pedro Claro has dropped down to 11th. Carasquara rises to 12th. Straven missed out completely and fell to 13th. Well, this is DePeo, still under pressure from Alexari. Delaney in 7th position. This is a real close battle for 5th, 6th and 7th positions. Gaps out front are still relatively close, but there's no, it doesn't seem as if any position's going to change anytime soon. The gap in the lead is 1 second, but right now we're looking at DePeo in the white Campos entry. The number 18 chased by Kiana Alexari. Just behind them is Delaney in the Red Bull Racing colour, slightly out of picture now. The third car there, as you can see, just leaving the picture. This is DePeo. Alexari trying every which way possible, to the inside, to the outside, to the left-hand side, to the right-hand side, and probably the underside. As Nail goes through the picture now to take another lap. He's got a 1.3 second lead over Rinnicella. Rinnicella has only got half a second gap over Christian Ho. Cardenas is in 4th place, having a little bit of a lonely race, happy enough to pick up those points and keep getting further experience. But DePeo on the real pressure from Alexari and Deligny. We're having warning flags already for track limits. And if you are Eloy Gonzalez, you better watch out. One more and you're going to get a time penalty. That's Nail in the blue and white Santalok Racing machine. Valerio Rinnicella in the orange MP Motorsport Drive. Then you got Christian Ho. That's gap has stretched ever so slightly. Then Cardenas in 4th place. Then you got nearly 3 second gap to DePeo in 5th position. Fastest lap last time round by TFL Nail, a 1 minute 43.965. He's half a second faster pretty much than any other driver on the circuit last time around. And really settling into this drive to victory. Well, he's still got 9 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. This race is far from over. And Rinnicella exiting the final corner, coming down the start-finish straight. It's 11 laps completed. We're now on lap 12. Christian Ho is still there, half a second behind. He's making his presence felt, but he's not challenging completely for the position. Cardenas beginning to wake up slightly to the possibility that he might be able to nab a 3rd podium of the weekend, to add to his 2nd place in race 1 and his race win from this morning. DePeo still being challenged hard by Alexari. That is Stromstead and Hodinis. Claro fighting over 9th, 10th and 11th places. Now Lyle, apologies, that was not out. Hodinis, Claro and Carasquara. There's the sound of hard braking coming into Drysack. The infamous turn 6 of Jerez. Riccardo Grazia, meanwhile, has pulled into the pits at the end of lap 10. It seems his weekend is over. A warning for track limits for Matteo DePeo, really taking too many advantages as he tries to fight Alexari off, and that is Grazia, and that looks like weekend completely done. When the mechanics are standing over the car with the hands on the hips, it's not really a good sign. Nail now 2 seconds ahead of Rinicella, as Rinicella is feeling the pressure of Christian Ho just behind. Well, they've broken the challenge to Cardenas somewhat, but now we have, this is the Peo in the white machine, 5th position. He's got Aletzari just behind. They built up a little bit of a gap to Delaney, 0.8 of a second. May not sound much, but it's more than enough to take the immediate pressure off the battle for 5th and 6th. Delaney, meanwhile, will also be watching his mirrors because Noah Lyle is locked on to his rear, while Noah Stromstead in 9th place will be challenging Lyle for 8th position. Pedro Claro rounding out the top 10. Not close enough, Aletzari, to think of doing a dive bomb. We saw some dive bombs into dry sack earlier today in the Eurocup 3 race. It was very much send it, hope for the best. Lots of the mechanics watching the race on their mobiles. Oh, you know, there's televisions in the garage, boys. DePeo and Aletzari still chasing each other hard for 5th and 6th places. In the grand scheme of things, this may not be the most exhilarating fight in terms of positions, but this is a big fight in the rookie standings. With DePeo and Aletzari actually second and third in the rookie standings, and they are ahead of Delaney, who is the rookie points leader. Rinicella has been pressed hard now by Ho. The gap is just over 0.3 of a second. As mentioned, Cardenas 4th overall, leading the rookie standings today. He's not posing any real threat to Christian Ho as of yet. And Max Restrepo being wheeled back into the garage. He's been in the pits since lap 5. And his weekend really done quite a long time ago. I suspect they were probably trying to fix his machine in the actual pit lane. Rinicella and Ho. Ho's had, it must be said, a little bit of a here and there season. Race winner at Aragon, podiums at Spa and at Aragon, a couple of fourths at Navarra, but this weekend it's just not really he's 6th and 8th position. He led briefly, very briefly in race 1, and a very good start, but was, how should we say, punted out of the way by Theophil Nail, who was charging for the win, and Ho really never recovered. Came home 6th position. But he has had a couple of retirements, and they finished down in 26th position at Spa, so it's not been consistent. When he has been on it, he's actually been really quite good, quite quick. An entertaining racer, to say the least, as we see the Santalok Racing guys in the pit lane. And it's a 5-second time penalty for Eloy Gonzalez for track limits. He's the only driver to have been fully pinged by track limits so far, but that's his 2nd penalty. I see Aletzari looking maybe to make a move on Peo, then pulling out at the last minute. The threat is there, but he needs to be quick about it. There's only 2.5 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. As you see the rookie standings on screen now. And Aletzari, he's looking around the outside, but there's clearly not enough room there. Following the Peo around to try and find a little gap, a little chink in the armour. Any opportunity to get through as they go through the right left and right chicane towards the end of the circuit. There's now just the right-hander, and then the following left, and then back onto the start-finish straight. So come back onto start-finish straight. Only maybe 2-3 laps remaining. Tail pushing really hard to keep Alexari at bay. Alexari will know his time is running out. This is a quite fantastic effort by Alexari. He's actually gained 10 positions. He started down at 16th position. And through a good start and the various kerfuffles that have happened along the way, he's been able to thread his way through and take up quite a few positions. Doesn't seem to feel as if he's close enough to really push, to really make a move. Eric Chenet has had a final warning for track limits, as had Jessica Arasquara. They are running in 22nd and 12th places respectively. Theophil Nail will get across the line in more than enough time to start his penultimate lap. Valerio Rinicella, the gap is now 3.7 seconds. Rinicella very much slotted into the runner-up position, and now just very much keeping Christian Ho at bay. It's a 2-second time penalty has been applied to Isaac Barashi in 27th place. The track limits, it will cost him 2 positions if things stay as they are. It's Christian Ho currently in 3rd place. He's dropped back from Rinicella as well. And this is the point really in the race. You just wonder maybe if the tyres are beginning to go the way, if they've had their best. And Alexari's probably thinking the same. He's wondering if De Peo's tyres have had their best too. There's a little bit of a wobble as De Peo came under braking into the right-hander. Onto the start-finish straight. De Peo weaving to try and break the toe. He has enough of a gap, I think. I don't think Alexari's going to try for the move here. But he's got to be careful, because that little bit of a wobble did destabilise his machine. And he's still looking to pressure. There's certain corners that De Peo is clearly struggling, and Alexari can close right up, but not enough to really force an effort through. And in the areas where you would consider to be overtaking positions, De Peo still has enough of an advantage to actually stay just enough ahead of Alexari for Alexari to not dare a nosedive. They're going through the chicane one more time. TFL Nail will just be ahead. He's going to be starting his last lap almost immediately, and Alexari does take a look into the final corner, and it has distracted De Peo somewhat, who's run a little bit wide. Now this gives Alexari an opportunity. He gets under the rear wing of Matthew De Peo as they come down the start-finish straight. De Peo holding the inside line. Alexari goes to the outside. He's going to try and ring around the outside, but he's not got the momentum to make it through. He does switch back to the inside. Will he go to the inside of 2? But De Peo is squeezing, but Alexari does it anyway. And Deligny's going to go through. Deligny's going to go through it, try and take both of them, but he doesn't quite do it yet. He has De Peo around the outside of 3. Alexari is ahead. Deligny is going to try and make a move to take Alexari as well. De Peo is there to try and retake any position he can. He can't quite yet. He's on the inside. Lyle is hoping all of them take each other out so he can get 3 positions in one, but that's not going to be the case. De Peo is just behind Deligny as they come down the straight. Deligny is going to try and get Alexari. He doesn't. De Peo goes around the outside of Deligny for 6th and 7th. Lyle is on the inside. He's going to take De Peo as well. He does. De Peo now drops down to 7th place. And brief. Can Alexari up to 5th place ahead of Enzo Dellini. Noel Lyle is up to 7th place. De Peo has dropped down to 8th. And he has got Stromstead just behind him. And once De Peo's dirty tyres, once De Peo's tyres got dirty, it really was the end of his day. But it's almost unseen as TFL Nil comes across the line to take the race win. Valerio Rinacella close to Christian Ho and Cardenas as they track him to the win. Chiara Alazzari takes 5th place ahead of Enzo Dellini. Noah Lyle 7th, Matthew De Peo 8th. He'll be disappointed with that. Noah Stromstead is 9th, Pedro Claro 10th. The final point to play in position, Lynn Houdin is 11th, Jessica Carasquada, Thomas Straubing 13th, Geronimo Berrio 14th. Ha, that will be investigated. Alexander Absakava is 15th, Federico Alrafai is 16th, Flavio Oliveri down in 17th, Fernando Barrichello 18th, Juan Cota 19th, Theodore Jensen rounding out the top 20, Luciano Morano 21st ahead of Eric Genet, Alvis Rodea is 23rd, George Zarowski 24th, Eloy Gonzalez 25th. That'll probably change with the time penalties are applied. Griffin Peebles 26th, Isaac Barashi also with time penalties applied, he's a provisionally 27th, Lorenzo Castilla 28th, Alessandro Zilvaggi 29th, and Dewey Richards 30th. And last across the line, non-finishers, Ricardo Grazia in the pits, Alex Ninovich in the pits following an controversial incident with Berrio, and Carl Bennett retired, as did Max Restrepo, and Pablo Sarrazin was stopped on circuit. Yay. Well, that was interesting. And Noah Lyle, his championship standings very much boosted by that. I mentioned during the race, Alazzari started 16th. Of course, he didn't. He started 6th. I had the great ridiculousness of looking at his starting position from this morning, which was 16th. My apologies for that. Drivers now come into the Parc Ferme area. And now that is his 5th win of the season. He took 1 win in Aragon, 2 at Navarra, and 2 this weekend. And he is absolutely charging to the 2023 Spanish Formula 4 Championship. Rinacella 2nd in the standings and 2nd in the race. And 3rd, Christian O. He takes off his helmet, having had some initial congratulations from his mechanics. You can see Rinacella getting congratulations too. And I will have some points for you in a few moments' time. You see the drivers having some little conversations. Highlights is a great start with TFL Neil. Valerio Rinacella did a great job to hold off Ho and Cardenas into turn 1. Once he'd settled into 2nd place, he was challenged by Ho right to the end. Cardenas didn't really keep up that challenge. He was thereabouts, but maybe not enough to press the front 3 significantly enough. That was a fantastic battle between De Peo and Alazzari, and in the end, the Pale just lost out. And it'll be interesting to note if maybe his tyres just reached the end of their lives. You can keep pushing these Hancocks and they'll hold out. You won't have a very, very sudden dip on these Hankook tyres at all. But the best will ebb away. And I feel the Pale probably got to that point. So not just the race win, but also the fastest lap for TfL Nel, and also led every lap, and also pole position. In Formula 1, we'd call that a Grand Slam. In Formula 4, yeah, I'm going to call it a Grand Slam. And now the list of drivers outside.
Teofil, congratulations again. Fantastic start.
Interview with the race winner, TfL Nel.
Good piece, fast lap, and victory. How do you think?
Yeah, I feel really good. Second win this weekend. It's amazing. You know, my start was good, and I tried to manage my pace in case of a safety car at the end, but the safety car was not out. So, yeah, I'm quite happy and confident for the next race next week.
Next station, Estoril next weekend. How do you expect it?
The test was good, so we will see. We'll try my best again, and I'm sure it can work well.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Absolutely wonderful timing, because I can tell you right now, TfL Nel is still the championship leader. Obviously, he just won the race and got fastest lap and had pole position. La 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 la. So he is on 196 points at the end of this fourth round. Second in the standings, as we get some more highlights. Second in the standings is the orange car. Second place there is Valerio Rinicella, 141. Third in points is Enzo Deligny on 123. Christian Ho has jumped to fourth in points with 120. He has overtaken Pedro Claro, who's fifth in standings now with 109. Claro, of course, the championship leader towards the beginning of the season. Noah Stromstead, sixth in points with 96, ahead of Matteo De Peo, who has 91. Then Keanu Alazzari is eighth in the standings with 79 points, ahead of Andres Cardenas, who's now up to 65 points, most of which garnered this weekend. Geronimo Berrio is 10th in the standings with 33 points. He is just one ahead of Noah Lyle, who had a very good 7th place finish today. Is the cockpit of the race winner. A calm, serene place almost for the race winner and championship winner. Really coming into his own, and to be brutally honest, Sandslope Racing as a whole very much coming into their own. Now they've had just over a year banked of single-seater racing at the Formula 4 level. And as mentioned earlier on this weekend as well, they've made their first forays into Eurocup 3 this weekend with Dario Cabanelles. A solid weekend. And you see the dirt and the grit and the muck and the pebbles collected on the slowdown lap. Deliberately done, of course, to add just a little bit of extra weight to the cars, so you can get a kilo or even half a kilo on those tires. It's all beneficial. And we're waiting now for the podium. A couple of other events and races to finish off this weekend, but this will be the last Formula 4 race until next week, of course. As we see drivers now coming onto the podium. Third place in the white overalls for Campos Racing is Christian Ho. Very good job, well done to him. The orange MP Motorsport entry, the number 55 Valerio Rinicella in the orange overalls, and in the white and blue overalls and slightly longer hair than he had earlier on this year, the race winner TfL Nel for Santalok Racing, and the Santalok Racing representative on the podium to get the team's trophy. in a few moments' time. But, you know, getting a few prize pictures first before things get properly going, before he is shuffled correctly into his place. And telling him to stand right exactly there. And so, the first trophy for Christian Ho, the bronze third place trophy, and a very nice little thing too. The second place trophy, the silver cup, as it were, for Valeria Rinicella. And now the gold race winning trophy for Theo Nail, his 5th win of the season, and his Just Championship Challenge really is coming together. The moment it got to the second round, it just absolutely clicked for the young Frenchman, and has clicked for Untitled Racing as well. When saying that, Nail is making the most of it. They're also running with Luciana Morano and Theo Jensen, who are not quite at Nail's level. But these things do come with time. And now the French national anthem. There's La Masse to celebrate victory for TFL Nail and for Untitled Racing. Note a change in the order just after the checkered flag. A 2-second time penalty for Flavio Oliveri drops him from 17th down to 19th, as I'm sure you're dying to hear that. We now pose for the final pictures of this weekend in Spanish Formula 4. We'll be ending our broadcast in a moment, and we'll be back in just a week's time for the 5th round of the championship from Estoril, also with Eurocup 3. And then we'll be back for the penultimate round in the middle of October. And my brain's gone completely blank. That is in Valencia over October 14th and 15th. And then the championship finale, the Circuit de Catalunya and Montmello, Barcelona, over the November 11th to 12th weekend. Thank you very much for joining us for this wonderful weekend of Spanish Formula 4 and Eurocup 3. My name has been Leo Gorman, and until next time, have a great week, and we hope to hear from you soon. Thank you and goodbye.